I agree. Go rogue. Do your own thing. Go rogue, roguers.
Oh, that's not going to stick, is it? Please tell me that's not going to stick.
Oh man, this is gonna be tough. I'm burnt out, dude. I don't want to start on a downer, but I've got 0% operating power. I want to die. I'm done. It's a wrap for me. Seriously,
Jesus.
I'm so exhausted, and I've got one more day of work tomorrow, and then I'm on leave for a weekend off the Tandem Sands. I don't know, dude. What's your weekly update? What are you doing? Pick me up, dude. Fire me up.
Well, I didn't know you were going to come up with that because mine's about death as well.
Damn, that's legit. We need to rebrand.
No, well, mine gave me new lease on life. There you go. That's the saying.
Nice one. New release on life, almost.
nearly. I flew out to Byron Bay, and as the
it was
a pretty chill flight. And then at the last probably half of the flight, there was a fair bit of turbulence as we were kind of slowly descending. And then you just look out the window and you're just chilling. You can see everything when you're really low to the ground. It was about at that point. I felt like we were probably 150 meters off the ground, and we're heading towards the runway. Pretty low. The trees are cleared because you're on the final descent. And then all of a sudden, the plane just goes nose up and max power.
Whoa.
And I'm just like, oh my God. And it's not going up. So the plane is staying at the same level above the ground all the way across the runway and over the ocean.
That's nuts.
And we just keep flying straight out over the ocean. We get a little bit more air. And I'm just like, this is it. We're just going to crash land on the ocean. This is how I go out. I'm a good swimmer, but we're going out pretty far, and I was like, this will test me.
Doss, here's one for you, mate. Here's one for you, mate. Nice and early. I reckon I would survive a plane crash. I honestly reckon I would be the lone survivor.
That's what I was thinking.
I say this to people a lot, and people say, don't joke about that. It's like, hey, I mean, it's kind of uplifting. It's kind of empowering.
Don't fly with me. But
I mean, I technically have a I can't die attitude, but in particular, I always, whenever I'm on a plane, I'm just like, because I read this book once, I forget what it was called, but it really stuck with me. It was a story of a lone survivor in a plane crash and how he just MacGyvered his way through the woods and built his home and animals and stuff. And that really resonated with me. So now it's I kind of just, embrace it a little bit when I'm flying. I sort of don't, clutch at the handrest and sweat when we're flying or taking off. I'm just I'll be the lone survivor. I get my press conference speech ready and everything. And it'll be a viral moment, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I was trying to think of how I would... So I even looked at the frickin' brace position again on the little piece of paper over there. I was like, better double check. I was like, I ain't gonna lie. I was scared shitless.
Oh, really?
And then even the second time as we came around and then the guy was like, the pilot's like, oh yeah, we're gonna try again. And I was like, bro, I don't think this is a trying scenario.
Yeah, do or do not. There is no try. Imagine if he was like, oh, that was close, guys. I'm kind of freaking out.
He did have a really calm voice when he did speak, and I was like, is that why it took so long? But I think that's because it took so long for us to get over the ocean and before you would address us. And he had to calm down first, I reckon. And
that happens all the time out here, I've got to say. It happens all the time.
What, plane crashes?
No, bloody failure to land, where the plane just comes down and it's like, nah, actually, I might just scoot out. Yeah, no, plane crashes don't happen out here, mate. We've got Qantas out here. Qantas doesn't crash, knock on wood. All right, so we've spoken about a near-death experience.
Well, all my plane crashes usually just my relationships. That's my specialty. I'm a lone survivor of them.
I just feel sad. It just makes me feel sad.
I'm matching your negativity to start us off.
You laugh or you cry. That's right. Don't fly with Dan or Pross or Doss because we are willing for that plane to go down. And if we're wrong, and we're not the lone survivor, then it's not like we're going to be around to have egg on our face anyway.
Exactly. It's not a situation where someone's going to be at your funeral or your wake and just be like, I told you so. Told you
yeah, exactly. We're on record. We're on record now. Look, you're right. Speaking about plane crashes and most of them being relationships, I reckon nights out have been some absolute plane crashes for me as well, and that's why we've got a really important one today for all the single fellas and all the single ladies. The road guide to clubbing. Going to give you some of our tips and hints based off on our experiences, and I think even I can join in on this one. I have had a lot of experience indeed. I've had a lot of good nights, great nights. In fact, some of the best nights. Even when, a lot of the time, I'll be honest, my objective was to hook up, and I can admit that. I was going out there with a motive, with an agenda. And I was trying to find a lovely person, lovely lass.
Just trying to find love,
home.
that's all.
Yeah, just trying to find love. I guess. Sometimes I was trying to find love. But as Dos would have said in the very early moments of last episode, look, I struck out a lot. Did not end up with too many of those girls, and wasted a lot of nights. And in my early days, in my younger days, when I didn't have the autonomy and the independence to sort of enjoy a night out for what it was, and I would only base it off of if I was successful or not. I consider that I have a lot of wasted nights where I just wasted money, got a bit bitter at the end. Life sucks. The girls don't like the nice guys; they just like the mean guys. That kind of stuff. I've had some good nights and some bad nights clubbing. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's certainly the same for me. I think it's the same for most people. No one has a 100% hit rate, and if they did, I'm worried because they clearly don't drink hard enough. There's a fine line. I've had nights where I've been in the line to go out. And then I've just woken up the next day. Like, I've just blacked out and just woken up. And I'm like, I feel like that's kind of a waste of a night.
Yeah.
I don't remember a single part. But I think in the end, it's always been, the club's always been my second home. It's a cure to all pain and suffering. It's the modern man's church where all sins can be forgiven. Until Satan himself, the bouncer, kicks you out, and then you're back to reality after that.
So true. And we've got some great advice and some great tips here for you. Starting with step one, Dos.
Step one. Well, this is where the night starts, and it is prees. Prees is
love hearing that word.
It's the launch pad for the night, and it's where a lot of the best moments happen. In the night. So I've had mates lose at beer pong and just ended up doing nudie runs. I had to scull a King's Cup out of a kettle once. That was interesting. And it's a great opportunity as well where there's few people you haven't met before. And especially when it's with your squad and everybody's, all their never have I evers. And then when you do play never have I ever, you get to shame whoever's brought a girl over they're trying to impress, or they brought a guy over. You can just shame everyone.
Never have I ever is a powerful thing, and early on in friendships and maybe drinking and stuff, it was a classic because you didn't really know how depraved, how degenerate some of your mates were. But after a few never have I ever's, you actually kind of feel like, oh, maybe there's a bit that I don't want to know about this person, and you can just not go down that road. But it can be used if you're the newcomer in a group of people doing never have I ever. Expect to be targeted, I reckon. That's probably fair to say.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's kind of the opposite. Like, it's also a great opportunity to flex. Because when people are like, never have I done this super cool thing, you can just be like, I've done that. And it's like a bit of a power play.
Well, what do you think about the power play where you do a never have I ever that you've done to flex?
Oh, nah, that's bullshit. No, people that do that are the worst kind of people. 100%.
They're like, never have I ever done this awesome thing. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, I do that all the time.
Oh, wait.
I'm so embarrassed.
Never have ever got on Bitcoin in 2011. Oh, what I did.
Right,
1%. That's a 1% thing to do.
No, they're like, oh, no, actually, it was 2009, so actually I'm safe. I'm way earlier.
Yeah. Oh, I better put my finger back up.
No, Pre's the best. Pre's gives me goosebumps, and honestly, a lot of the time, and there's always a big part of the group that's just like, no, don't leave Pre's, don't leave the house, don't go clubbing, it's always bad, you're gonna be sad again, Dan, you're always sad after clubbing, don't do it. It's like, not tonight. Not tonight. I'm going for it. Yeah, we'd have it at Mum's house all the time. What are you talking about? My house was sick. Had a pool.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And Mum would be like, "Don't do it, Dad. Don't have some self-respect, Mum. Not this time. Trust me. Someone's gonna love me."
I'm gonna find you a daughter-in-law, Mum. It's gonna happen.
I'm gonna bring one home from the rolling rock, the old throbbing cock.
Shout out to the rock, the cock.
Yeah, shout out KB's for the international lovers out there.
KB's, one of the favourite bars I've ever been to. But I do want to highlight on that there is a big difference between prees and a house party. There's a big difference. I think when it's prees, yes, the goal is to go out. You know, you should be gone by 11 most of the time, no later than that, because the lines are a nightmare. But if it's a house party, I can't stand people that go out on a house party.
Really?
I'm like, yeah, if the house party, as long as it's not just your group, as long as there's an expanded crew of not your usual, so there's people you haven't met before, there is no reason for you to go out. Like, it's a house party. Like, there's a reason for the party. You can go clubbing any weekend, just about any night of the freaking week, especially in Melbourne, which I've found out the financial hard way. Yeah. So a house party, and they're so much fun. You only get a couple a year. The older you get, the less you get. It's shit. They're some of the best times.
Honestly, I totally agree. I was a little bit surprised to hear that from you, though, because I feel like you're a type of person that that goes, dances to the beat of your own drum. But shout out episode 1, house parties, if you want to get some more advice on how to make a house party that people don't want to leave. Because maybe sometimes the party sucks, people want to leave. Anyway, step 2. You've been drinking a lot at prees, fair to say. You're trying to save your money, trying to get buzz. You want that car ride, that taxi ride, that bus ride, that Uber ride, whatever it is, the walk. You want it to be as jovial and merry as possible. So you get to the club. Yeah. First thing you do, most of the time, beeline it straight to the bar. It's straight to the bar, and you're going to get something that's either going to absolutely get things crazy, probably a shot or a few shots or a double shot shots really is probably what often happens. But, maybe it's just you're judging by the line. You want to manage yourself, and you want to get maybe 2 drinks at once. Or maybe you want to get a jug and split it. Or maybe if you're like Dos, maybe you get a jug and that's your friend for the night, and you make the most of that. But drink management's a huge thing. Now, Dos, you know me very well. I'm a big proponent of the TAC vom, the tactical vomit, as some might say.
God, here we go. Every third episode you bring this up. I swear.
At least I'm not talking about a wake.
Mate, I wouldn't be surprised if you did a TAC vom at a wake. After a ceremony, you just plastered. You're like, I'm going to have a TAC bomb before the wake.
Dust. Talk it up all you want. But really, you know that there's a time and a place. And there's been times when it's won us competitions, and there's been times as well where you have to also not just manage your drinks, but suss out your environment. If you're feeling like you're on the edge, always know where the loos are. I can't tell you how many times I've had a shot and beeline straight for the loos, or I've had to scull a drink, beeline straight to the loos, or I've found potted plants in the corners of clubs. Oh, no. Often people aren't watching those spots.
Not condoning this.
Dos, I'm trying to spit facts here. I listened to admittedly, I did listen to Step 1 Prees, which was very good. But my personal suggestion, and it's just a suggestion, it's the road guide, it's tips, it's guides, it's not laws, it's not rules. Find the right corners. Find the right, quiet place. And I find that pot plants are a good place to hide that. I've got a pretty high strike rate. Three from 3 actually of non-spotted, literally tactical stealth voms in plain sight.
Have you spotted at some point?
And not yet. And there's not too many clubs in Longreach, let me tell you that. And by not too many, I mean 0. So I think I'll have a perfect record forever.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I did want to highlight, though, you mentioned, as soon as you get to the club, you go straight to the bar. I actually have a new look on that from literally last weekend. Because, I just drove up to Sydney, and I got there at 9 o'clock, and my cousin was like, come out. And I was like, shit. Just jumped in an Uber and went to the bar. So I was sober as hell. And then as soon as we got in, they had a fair buzz. So they were like, let's hit the dance floor first. And I was like, oh, man, I feel like I need a drink first. But I was like, stuff it, I'll go with you. And had a little boogie. And once you get that sober, hideous dance out of the way, you're just like, oh, wow, I'm a lot more relaxed now, Immediately once we got to the bar, they gave me 3 shots. But, I felt like I was still at a good level before them.
Yeah, right. Are you trying to, give some preachy, don't drink, go out sober type strat? Is that step 3?
No.
Be sober?
I'm trying to... I think you should hit the dance floor for 5 minutes and find your vibe. And then... start drinking. From a man that blacks out all the time. So this is something that might change.
Bad step, not condoned. I don't like it. I think that sounds sad. I think that's right.
All right, well, step 3. Similar to how we people come into listening to this podcast, it's have no expectations. Like the best.
You can't be
nights,
disappointed.
Exactly, can't be disappointed. Some of the best nights are the most spontaneous nights. I think one of my favourite nights out was I just had a mate come around after footy, and we had like, oh, we'll have one beer, watch the footy. It was a really close game, so we had a few beers, and then I was meant to pick you up from the airport at like 7, 8 a.m. or something.
What?
Yeah, and then we're like, oh, we'll go out for one drink. We had one drink, then we're like, we'll go out until 1. Had until 1, and then all of a sudden we ended up at the dingiest club possible, like we're on the bikers hangout, and then it was like 5:30 a.m. and I was like, shit. I'm going to have to pick up Cross in a couple of hours.
What happened to me?
Yeah, I picked you up. I went home, had a nap. Luckily, I stopped drinking a bit early, so I was a little bit sober. But I had no sleep, and it was incredibly painful. But I still picked you up.
Wow. Yeah, I think I can vaguely remember that. Probably went to one of those chicken places that you love on the way home on the side of a road or something. But okay, well, that's kind of painful to know, I've got to say. But I agree. Step 3, no expectations. Admittedly, that's what I was saying in my opening spiel, is that I always had expectations. I was like, oh, this is the night. I'm either going to find love, or I'm going to the other alternative that's also, good temporarily.
Who has found love
like I said,
on a night out? I can't think of it. I can't even think of it. Oh, I actually have one mate that met a girl at 18, and he did do one of your tactical voms just before.
Naturally.
That's how he found her. I'm not going to mention names because I don't know if she knows that part of the story. But
shout out Tac Vom friend, big fan of the show. That's why we can't shout him out. That's why we can't use his name. He said step 2, and he's like, that's it. That should have been on the first date. You always have to tag Vom at the first date, definitely. And you might have to. Anyway, we'll revise the last episode, I think, now. Step 4, mate. This is a tough one. Do you know what I hate more than anything, mate? I hate wingmen.
Small hands.
I hate the concept. Forced it, mate. Forced it. No one's laughing. No one's laughing. No one thinks that's funny. That was weak. That wasn't good. No one's laughing, mate. What are you laughing about?
It's not as weak as your steps. So, or your friggin' weekly updates. Jeez, they've deteriorated. They started
You put the week in weekly update, mate. Come on.
Well, now that we've got listeners, you are deteriorated. You're crumbling under the pressure of having an exciting week.
The audacity, mate. I'm about to go on another awesome trip. And hang on, while we're on the topic of bloody weekly updates, you promised me that your weekly update would be about the sweet lunch that you went to last Friday or something. And I said to you before we recorded that episode time, I said, talk about this time. And you're like, no, I'll talk about it once it's done. This awesome
Well, I didn't know I was going to die on a plane. Like, I felt like that was a bit more exciting. Otherwise, the lunch was great, but it was more of a 1% flex because it was like 7-course meal. I think it was $1,500 between 8 of us, and then all the drinks paid for the next 6 hours after that. Went to Crown on $400. And then,
Hell yeah. Oh, shit. What'd you win it on? Roulette or blackjack?
Roulette, yeah. I was like, had an okay night. I'd won enough, and then as we were walking out, I put $100 on red, got up, and then my boss was like, put one on a third. And I was like, all right, stuff it. And then the third got up, and I was like, oh my God.
And you left?
Yeah, well, because I had to drive to Sydney in 8 hours after that. So I was like,
right.
Better get out of here.
Anyway, I definitely set you up for that subtle flex, that not so subtle flex. But it's what I'm saying.
Are you trying to position me in the 1%? Are you trying to put me with the enemy?
I actually, we have to cut this out because I don't want anyone to look into our right to claim being 99%ers because I think there's questions that could be asked. But let's keep moving. Step 4, mate. And you're not going to like this, I don't think, because you're pretty basic. You're very basic. Wingmen. Wingmen, mate. Wingmen. They shit me to tears. On. I hate wingmen. I think if you need someone walking up to a chick, and honestly, this is how, or you're actually, I think wingmen for girls are actually good because guys need as much help as they can. If you're a girl and you've got a friend that'll walk up to a guy and say, "Hey, my friend likes you," that's just it. You're on. Like you've won him over. That's simple as that. I've found. But for guys, it's different because it's a little bit harder, I guess. And you've got guys that have this wrong idea of wingmen from like the sitcoms they watch. They walk up and they be like, "Look at my mate over there. He's like this like fighter pilot," and like it's always terrible. Like honestly, it's always awful. And it doesn't matter who they are. They always have this wrong idea of trying to build you up. It's like I don't need to be built up. Just like look at me, dude. Look at me. I don't need your fake stories. Look at my life. Let me tell them about my life. I've been cockblocked by a wingman before. Shout out, Getty Dow, G-Force.
Just shaving him on the pod.
We said, hey, he doesn't listen, Getty. You fake friend, you don't listen. I'll say what I want, Getty. You cockblocked me, mate. Like I said, mate, I'm at less than 0% operating power here. I'm in hysterics. I'm below functioning. I've got nothing. I don't care. I'm unleashed. And fuck wingmen, dude. I think they're shit. I think it's for cowards. That being said, the nights when you and I would wingman each other, by God, we would strike. We would strike high. But yeah, mostly, I think that you can't find good wingmen. You can't. Don't count.
I've got a different kind of tactic to all of this. Actually, just shout out to your little mention about girl wingman. 100% agree. Last weekend, I was just standing at the bar waiting to get a drink, and this chick comes up to me. She's like, "Turn around." I was like, "Okay," and I just turned around, and then she's like looking at her friend, and they're nodding at each other, and I'm like, "What is happening?" She's like, "We just wanted to see your face to see if you're attractive," and I was like, "Oh yeah." They're
Whoa. Did you pass?
Yeah. I did pass the test, which was great. Happy news.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not desperate. It's not low. It's not weak. Girls, do it. It's so effective. It'll work most of the time.
Yeah. And another good route for fellas, well, not fellas, anyone could do this. It's a bit sneaky. It's a bit devilish. I say to one of my friends, I was like, "Hey, man, I'll be your wingman." And then I see a group of girls, and I'm like, "All right." And then I go talk to the most attractive one, the one that I want, and then I talk to her, hey, your friend should get with my friend, and then we build this wingman alliance, and that puts her defenses down, and then all of a sudden we've got good chat, good banner.
Nice.
And, and that kind of, that's my way of working my way in.
And so to prove my point why you shouldn't have wingmen, this is an example. Your wingman is actively seeking out the most attractive person. Yeah. They are instantly handicapping you. You might have had a chance with the prettiest girl there, but your wingman didn't want that for you. It wasn't part of their plan. That's what I'm saying. Wingmen don't do it.
Well, that's just selfish of them. That's selfish of them.
Yeah, you should be glad your mate's getting up.
Yeah, exactly. But I do have another mate that is a good wingman. He's actually, I hate it, but it actually works, where I'll be like talking to a girl and he'll come up and he'll just be like, no, you're not good enough for him. And he'll like push her away. And I'm just like, no, I want to talk to her. And then he's just like, no, she's not good enough for you. She's not good enough for you. And then they're all of a sudden trying to come at you because they're like, oh, no, then we can talk. And then it's just a way to getting their number. But he's pretty genuine about them not being good enough to me, which is a bit frustrating.
He is trying to attack their insecurities in front of them at the club. But it tends to work out for me, so it's all right.
I'll allow it. But step 5. Step 5 is pretty easy, as I think it's probably been a little bit evident throughout the steps. We started as a group, and as things of the drink management, the no expectations of wingmans, we've slowly dropped down to singular, and that is step 5. It is it's go rogue. Go on your own adventure. Ditch your mates. If they can't keep up, they can't keep up. It's as simple as that. This is for like pre-12, midnight. I was going to say 12 a.m. or p.m., but honestly, I don't even know which one's which half the time.
Oh, that does my head in. I always say 12:01 p.m. or 12:01 a.m. just so I can be safe.
Yeah, I like it. Well, I'm on midnight today, and because at midnight, that's when the couples, boyfriends, girlfriends, that's when they go home, and after that, it's just a slaughter fest. If that's not the right word, take that back. It's chaos from 12 to 2, and then anything after 2 is just nothing good happens. So, but unless you're by yourself, and then you can create your own story, create your own path.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with going rogue. I think we're both renowned for it. You in particular, you're a very early adopter of going rogue. In fact, you'll sometimes, I feel like, get out of the bus or the taxi, and it's like, oh, we've lost us.
It's got a different bar.
That being said, and it comes back to my hypocrisy with wingmen. It's like I agree, go rogue. I reckon that's where a lot of the sauce and the magic is. You can really forge your own identity. You're not, bound to someone else that maybe isn't on the same vibe as you, whatever. But it makes me sound a bit desperate. But I will hunt you down, Dos. I will go rogue on the hunt. People will be like, "What's Dan doing?" He's like, "Oh, he's off by himself." But I'm searching for where Dos is left me. I'm following clues, following heartbreak, split Slurpees. Jugs. There's maybe a jug on the ground. Dos, you might be steering clear of pot plants that have attacked 1 minute because you're like, oh, Dan's nearby. He's close. He's got to find me.
Found me.
But I agree. Go rogue. Do your own thing. Go rogue, roguers. Rogue.
Rogers. Oh, that's not going to stick, is it? Please tell me that's not going to stick.
One of the classics.
One of the classics.
Yeah, go rogue. I think that's great. We could finish on a tip for the rogue guide. That is go rogue, and we can both agree that it's the way to go.
Yeah, I think 100%. I think between those 5 steps and our just wisdom when it comes to clubbing, I know. I'm the clubbing guy. Like if someone's like, "Hey, we should go out," the first thing they call me and they drag me out because they know I don't want to keep money in my bank account. So I'm first to agree, and I'm ready to set the pace.
Can we commit to a percentage? Like what rate do you reckon people will either hook up or perhaps have a great night based off of these 5 steps? Maybe we go with hook up because, I mean, you can always have a great night, quite frankly, if you've got the right attitude. But if you're looking to actually hook up with these tips, you know we gave the docile guarantee on the first date last week. If you follow those tips, you found the one. How likely do you reckon, realistically, if you followed these tips, you'd probably end up finding someone?
I'm gonna settle on the magic number of 90%, I reckon. Yeah. Of having a good night. Not necessarily finding someone, but having a good night.
Okay. Yeah. Cop out. That's a cop out.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not about finding someone. This is literally step 3. No expectations. And you're trying to make me put expectations on everyone.
I've failed. I have not followed step 3. Thank you for correcting me. Sometimes we don't follow our own steps. And,
I agree.
And thanks for calling me out. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous when someone's called out for drinking beer. I've been called out for not following step 3, having no expectations. You're right.
Yeah.
Dos, let's jump on to someone. Does he go rogue? Does Christian go rogue? Is he our big core guest?
He works behind the bar, and I have witnessed him go rogue a number of times. So he's had both experiences. He's witnessed a lot from his days behind the till, and a lot of other days the other side of the till. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But
let's let Christian do the talking. Christian, how you doing?
Hoi boys. Good. How are you fellas?
Yeah, mate. We are living the absolute dream here.
Yeah, a rabble going on. So feel free. We're counting on you to bring some quality chat. Can you provide?
Yeah.
As Dos probably knows more than Pross, that's probably a rarity, but I'll give it my best.
he's one of the 90%.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Because really the thought process for getting Christian on, we love Christian, love him dearly, but we just had a double up last week, so we couldn't double up again because otherwise people were out of friends. I'm trying to get a guestless episode, a big call that we just do. But then if we go from a double up to no guests at all, people might think, oh, they've actually run out of people that even would double up from their pool of friends. Thankfully, at the midnight hour, at the 11th hour, Christian answers the call, comes through in the clutch. And Christian, before we get into how we met, do you go rogue, mate? What's your philosophy when you go clubbing?
Look, I'd say I definitely do go rogue because there's definitely nights where I've ended up, getting home at 7 a.m. and having to walk from somewhere to my brother's house again to drop me off somewhere else. But then other times I've been very tame. But yep, definitely the capacity to go rogue.
Tell us the kid's bed story.
No, I'm not.
Tell us the kid's bed story.
I'm not saying that one. Fuck no.
Oh, come on. Come on.
That could be for another day. That could be for another day.
When we have more
Christian,
listeners.
Yeah, exactly. When there's actual societal consequences to your comments.
Yeah, but people still go to the back catalogue, so they'll keep on listening to the old stuff. So,
Christian, how did you meet the illustrious Dos?
Well, it actually.
Oh my God, it's a wingman story.
Oh yeah, it actually is a wingman story, so that's kind of perfect. But also, it does tie into the fact that coming in at the last minute, as always, because I feel like I'm always that 11th hour person that Dos calls me and be like, "Oi mate, can you drive me to the airport?" When? Oh, an hour. But anyway, no, I met Dos. It was actually, funnily enough, we were both, he had just applied for the DCSS, the Commerce Society, and I noticed this profile photo of a fella in a dress. I'm like, okay, that's a weirdo. It'll probably work out. But I was at the 21st. I was at the 21st, and I was just talking to this girl that I worked with, and all of a sudden, this guy comes all the way across to me because he's interested in her, and I'm like, hang on a minute, you look familiar, and it was Dos because I'd seen his his dress profile photo,
Yeah.
and from there it has flourished to what we know of today.
So did you guys like ditch the girl? Did you guys like realize that you were the match of the night and just dip on the chick?
No.
Yeah.
No, Dos definitely.
I'd like
Look
to
out.
say
Dos,
yeah.
you rat.
Mate, I
This
came
is
over
Dos's
like
wingmanning policy at play again.
I came over like me and Christian were like best mates from years back. Yeah, I was like, oh, hey Christian, mate, how's it going on? Who's this? Oh, shocking.
But Christian, mate, my best mate from a long time back, the doctor's on the phone. He wants to talk about that STD, so you might want to go over and answer that. And I'll chat with this lovely lady here.
I'll
Look,
keep her busy.
I'm glad he didn't go down that route, but no, he just sliced into the conversation perfectly, and I was like, I'll leave them to it, because obviously Dos is on a mission here, and then went off and talked to my other friends, and it was all good.
Nice. Well, Christian, my story, I don't really know about you, but I don't remember much of my life, if I'm honest with you. But I will say that we either met when you came to Koran in Queensland, or on the off chance I went to Victoria, and that's probably the extent I can remember.
I'm pretty
of
positive it was
that.
actually Dos's 21st.
Oh, iconic. Yeah, that was the first time I met a
Yeah.
bunch of the Victorians. That was an iconic moment, actually. We talked about that in the parties episode, I think, as well, which is episode 1, I do believe, about getting the squad. And you know the squad's good when they follow you across states. And you were one of those good people. But today, you're on the pod because you've got a big call, a time in your life where you made a big call. And you'll tell us a story, get to that big moment. We'll tell you what we would have done, and then you tell us what you did. Christian, what is your big call?
Alrighty, so like everyone else, my big call is definitely related to travel, because that seems to be where everyone gets their good stories. And basically, it was
True.
back end of the America trip that I went to with Sanders.
Kentucky?
No, we just did our own thing. We
Ooh.
basically followed a trail
Fancy
of basketball. We basically followed a trail of basketball games because we just wanted to go see a bunch of players play. And at this
Just 'cause
stage,
you're virgins.
yeah, you haven't seen the King play, have you? So go fuck yourself.
Joke's on you.
I nearly saw Messi play.
I'm going to pass on that comment. I'm just going to keep going. Anyway, we're in Miami, and it's supposed to be like this beautiful sunny place, but it was also the back end of the trip. So we'd consumed far too many cheeseburgers, wings, all that sort of stuff. So we were feeling heavy, and we discovered they have like bikes you can just rent to go places. So we were getting on the bikes to, feel a bit good about ourselves because we hadn't done a lot. And that day we were supposed to go jet skiing. And so we got up in the morning, we saw outside, it was like lightly drizzling. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's bike. Let's save a bit of money here. Again, budgeting, shout out episode 4, I think.
Oof.
But yeah, we got on the bikes and started pedaling down to the marina, wherever, to get on the jet skis. And then about 10 minutes later, as we're on the ride, it starts bucketing down, like absolute downpours. And, we had everything in the basket of the bike. So everything important, passport being one
Wait,
of them.
these bikes had little baskets on
Yeah,
the
they had
front?
little baskets. Shut
That's
it.
cute.
Oh,
That's
adorable.
cute.
You're really not helping this virgin chat. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway, we had everything important in there, including passports, but they were like in a backpack, and we got absolutely drenched on. And then we got to a certain point and we pulled over and we're like, is jet skiing even going to go ahead? Because we saw we were just drenched from head to toe. And we looked at Sanders' phone and he's gone, yeah, it's actually been cancelled. They called us about 15 minutes ago. Anyway, and then I looked at my passport and you could not peel the pages apart. That's how bad it was.
No.
And we were
That's
still on the bikes.
worst.
We're still on the bike, so we had to race back to the hostel and get the hairdryers out, blow dry them, just to try and get them as best as possible, because we had to go home in 4 or 5 days. Anyways, then we went to San Diego, which was fine because, in the country flight. And here's the big call part. We had initially planned to go to Mexico just for a day or two, just to see what it was like. With the damaged passport, may I add, would you have gone all balls out and gone to Mexico or chickened out?
Tell me about the extent of the damage to this passport. Are we talking blurred words? Is it all crumpled up? What's the damage?
It was crumpled up. It was very crumpled up. It wasn't necessarily blurred as in the picture and all that sort of stuff. However, like we were confident we'd definitely be able to get home, but that's all I'll give you.
I don't know about you, but this kind of reminds me of that situation we had at Puerto Varas or wherever it was, Puerto Montt or Puerto Varas, where we were trying to cross the border. And we basically found ourselves in a bit of a situation, and we were potentially doing some scuffed things, and it was taking days. It was very confusing. We were trying to get passes. And we decided to plow on into the unknown, possibly across the borders where people could have potentially got pulled out and by people with guns, which actually happened. Thankfully, not targeting us.
Not on that bus.
I'm gonna say I am going to roll the dice, and I'm also going to possibly get ready to dig into the bank of mum and dad and go to Mexico. And potentially, I don't know, get stranded there because the passport's so scuffed. Oh, but maybe then I want to buy the tickets because what if the passport doesn't get me on the plane? I've got to get home though, so I've got to find out somehow. I don't know. Actually, I'm just going to take my chance on Mexico, and hope that. No, actually, do you know what? Scratch that. I'm staying in San Diego, and I'm going to make sure I don't waste my money in case my passport's too scuffed to go to Mexico.
We're going to put like...
No, I'm not going to... No, I'm doing that. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. We've quit on countries before. I'll quit on Mexico this trip. We'll go back another time.
We need to put like a time limit on these responses, I reckon.
You're already digging into your time, dude.
Fair. Well, mine's easy. It's just you're going straight to Mexico. But because there's another reason. Because if you're in Mexico and your passport doesn't get you on the plane, doesn't get you home, well, you're going to create more of an urgency if you're in Mexico than if you're in America. Because in America, like, oh yeah, that'll be right. But in Mexico, you can get the media involved if things take too long. So you've got a bit more flex there. And I think that'll get you home, just sit on that.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah. What'd you do?
Christian, you made this big call yourself. What did you do?
Yeah. He's actually still in America.
Yeah, that was what, a few years ago. No,
He's like, I'd like to meet my Mexican mum and dad.
Well, look, unfortunately, I'd love to say that I bit the bullet and went to Mexico. However, the state of the passports, like I said, we were confident we'd get back to Australia, but we weren't confident that we'd be able to get back from Mexico to America to get to our next flight. So some would call us say we did the coward act, but we did the coward act. We stayed in San Diego. We
don't call it the coward act because it's the act that I agreed on, so we call that the hero act.
I have a different word for it, and it does start with C.
I thought it started with V after the conversation before, but sure. But no, yeah, we cowered it out. We stayed in San Diego. We adventured around there, and then ended up getting back to Australia. And as we got home, we as expected, we did get questioned on the passport. So like, get a bit wet, mate. And it's like, yep.
Did you to sell the story? Did you go into the airport bathroom and just splash water all over your face so you look like you're wet? And just it was just
I'm still recent. Wet, mate.
I'm still wet, man. It was really recent.
That's how wet it was.
I mean,
I didn't have time to change it.
I mean, that would have been a weird tactic because the pages were clearly dry, but
they wouldn't expect it then. And if they don't expect it, you're more likely to believe your story. That's my.
And this is why this is why we don't listen to Doss's advice. Christian, thanks so much for the big call. We're glad to have you back in Australia, although I would have loved to have met your Mexican family if you did get caught over there.
Yeah, that would actually have been pretty fun. It would have been a fiesta and a half.
Oh, Spanish fun.
I was going to say siesta, but I realised that's nap. I might just be tired.
Yeah. hey, we're very pro stuffing up your words on this podcast. We're very happy for you.
We are.
I realise I'm in the right spot.
Yeah.
Christian, mate, we'll leave you to it. Thanks so much for jumping on.
Cheers.
And thanks for coming on, Christian. It was nice to have a little Mexico experience on the podcast.
Little Mexican?
Yeah,
Yep.
we've had a fair bit of Southeast Asia, so it's nice to get one of the Americas in.
What have you got, mate? What are you doing?
Well, I've got my Hear Me Out today, and it does involve clubbing and something that's close to my heart, line cutting. It's an interesting one because everybody's very staunch on either side. There's no one in the middle. And I hate to say it, but man, I'm pro line cutting.
Oh, you're right.
I think if you have connections that can get you up that line, then you got to use them. It's cold, especially in Victoria. It is cold, and you don't want to be standing out in the cold. No one wears a jacket out.
It's taking every part of me not to jump in here, but keep going. Keep telling us why. Make your case, because I think it's.
Plus, you don't want to sober up. You don't want to sober up too much, and it's tough. Like, I feel bad about it, but like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna do it. Like, why wouldn't I do it? I see people in front of me do it, and it's tough for me to do it as well, because I'm tall. I'm a dude. Everyone can see me, so I get pointed out a fair bit, and I have to live and die by the sword. So, yeah, that's my stance.
Mate, you don't want to sober up, right? You're like, oh, I don't want to sober up. I should cut this line. Mate, people in the line don't want to sober up, all right? Mate, this is an indictment on society.
Yeah,
this is exactly what people's problems are.
The
rich get richer, mate.
But
the people with connection. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know. And you are flexing that on fine people in the line that are waiting there that maybe could have cut in as well, but had some moral fiber not to do it.
Yeah, but
you
it's
are
not about.
You are the reason why the line is so long.
It's not about the people in the line. It's about the people inside. And they're the ones already inside that are going to experience the whole night and have a good time. But I'm going to add value to their night in the club. Other people behind me going to add value? I just can't be sure. I can't be
90% of them won't. 90% of them won't.
But looking at the statistics, I'm in the 10% of the socially capable. So I feel like me going in there is going to benefit everybody.
Yeah, I don't like it, dude. I couldn't do it because if someone called me out on it, I guess I'm conflict averse, but I'm also, I do find myself in confrontational situations and thrive in it, or back down. But hey, shout out Rolling Rock D Floor, the throwing bows. I love that dance move. But yeah, I think that's a rad act, mate. I don't like it. I think you should stop, unless you're cutting me in as well, and I won't cop any negative feedback for it.
So you're happy to be ushered into the push-in, but not the instigator?
I specifically remember one night that actually ended early because you were like, you cut into the front of the line, you're like, boys. You're out there with like 6 of us. Hey, boys. I know this bouncer. I can get us in here. And you cut to the front of the line, and he's like, oh, it's really full. He's not sure. And you're like, oh, mate, come on, let us in. Well, let me in, and I'll get the boys in some other way, sort of thing. So you get let in, and you come around to the side door that you tell us to meet you at. And first of all, you don't pop up there for like 20 minutes, half an hour. We're all standing out in the freezing cold of winter in Melbourne. And I'm not wearing long pants. I probably am wearing long pants at this point. So we're all freezing anyway. Waiting. Is this the right door? Anyway, after all that time, you pop through the window that you're supposed to sneak us in through with like a drink in your hand probably. And you're just like, sorry, boys, not tonight. And I was like, damn it. Yeah, and the night was over and we left. And I remember I went and bought some like dinky hotel room, slept there, which actually turned out to be pretty nice because I love hotel rooms. But yeah, that was the worst. Stuff line cutting. You're a rat. You're a dog. You are the anti-wingman.
That's a personal attack. Let's just keep this to the hear me out, man. Come on. Don't come at me.
All right. Hypothetically, someone that does what you do is a coward, is a rat, is a dog, but not necessarily you. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no, fair. No, not fair, but also fair.
Yeah. I hear ya. We're at an impasse. An unstoppable force meets an immovable object here. Unstoppable force, though. Let's focus on that because that's what the road guide is. Oh. 13 episodes in. Lucky number 13. One of my favourite numbers. Here we are. We're on the back end of another gripping episode. And, as always, shout-outs to the Instagram. Pretty slack from our meme makers this week, I've got to say. Also, some of the memes that my friends send through don't get featured, which upsets me and upsets my friends.
Firstly, I'd be happy to put up memes if they send them, but like you need to get friends first. You need to listen to the episode 5, man. Friends episode. Learn a thing or two.
All right. Okay, mate. Either way, get in touch with us. Get on the DMs. If you're listening and you want to be a part of the big call, if you've got a controversial thought you just want to have in the Hear Me Out, if you just want to send in some memes, we love to see them. Or just say, hey, and send us some cash. We love that too, and we appreciate it.
I'm happy. I think I've educated people today. I think people are going to be smashing the clubs that extra 10% harder, which we'd love to see.
Awesome. Episode 13 in the books. 15 episodes this season, so a couple more to come. We're going to have an awards show, but stay tuned for that. Get your tips in for your favourite guests and your favourite calls and your favourite references. Just send us in what categories you want to see, as well as some of your personal favourites, and we'll get those going there. But Dos, as always, that's the end of a Rogue Guide episode. Do you want to hit us up with your favourite Scooby-Doo Rogue Guide impression?
I knew you were going to throw to me. I was like, just close the episode.
Dude. I love it.
God damn it.